What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. I know you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. So we got Governor Gavin Newsom of California facing some serious heat as he's now nowhere to be found as anti-ICE rioters cause chaos in his state, guys. I'm excited to get into this one, so without further ado, let's hop straight into today's scoop.
Hours earlier, there were violent clashes in that same area, leading to an LAPD tactical alert. Dozens of officers deploying to the streets after a day of peaceful ICE-out protests suddenly turned violent. Air 7 overhead as a group of demonstrators started targeting those federal agents, those federal officers guarding the entrance to the downtown detention center. Those officers firing back with pepper balls and irritant sprays. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Pulliam was in the middle of it all. He is live with us now and joins us with his story. Tim.
Hello, Mark. So yeah, there are still clashes with police right now. I'm going to go ahead and toss it to the package because there is profanity.
At nightfall, demonstrators clashed with LAPD once officers declared their assembly was no longer peaceful. Police officers in tactical gear formed a line pushing protesters away from the federal building that holds ICE detainees. Air 7 captured the moment protesters closed in on security guards, shielding themselves outside the building as the crowd threw trash and debris. During LAPD's order for the crowd to disperse, we met Marisol from East LA. She's here demonstrating for her family members who are undocumented and U.S. citizens and fear being detained by ICE.
We're expecting a change. We want to change.
What kind of change do you want to see?
It's insane the way people have been treated. You know, we're all human.
Protesters marched in the street nationwide Friday demanding an end to ICE operations in their community. This demonstrator's sign showed the names of people gunned down by ICE. Kayla from Mid-City says this issue should concern more than just black and brown communities.
Do you feel like more white people should be out here protesting?
Absolutely. We have a history of activism in the brown and black people of this country, and it's beautiful and it's inspiring, and more white people need to stand up and help our neighbors because we can't survive without them.
That was Tim Pulliam reporting. Now, the protest in downtown LA, one of many, of course, happening across Southern California tonight. This is new video just in from Oxnard. You can see hundreds of people there marching and carrying signs. There have been a series of ICE raids in that area as well. Some of the farms in the Oxnard area targeted by ICE agents. There have also been demonstrations in Orange County and in Riverside as well.
All right, folks, so it appears they're back at it again, attempting to stop ICE from carrying out their immigration enforcement. And in the past, we've seen that these protests, especially the violent ones, have not done a single thing, and it has not stopped ICE from carrying out their federal orders. So I'm not sure what they're trying to get at here, but it's clearly not going to work. And I want to flip over because instead of leadership being the bigger people and, you know, speaking out against this violence, we have a mayoral candidate for Long Beach, California that just called for the most absurd uprising against ICE agents in his city. It's bad.
My name is Rogelio Martinez. I am calling all 55 gangs in my beautiful city. I expect a gang leader from every gang, all 55 gangs, and I'm not going to name them by name, but I'm calling the Latino gangs. I'm calling the Cambodian gangs. I'm calling the Filipino gangs. I'm calling the black gangs. I'm calling the Pacific Islander gangs. I'm calling all gang leaders to meet me right here, Long Beach City Hall, this coming Monday. Why Monday? Specifically, I need you to be here to meet me in person to take back this city. Because our leadership is not doing anything about it, and our police are powerless. Once again, let me be very clear. My name is Rogelio Martinez, your 2026 Long Beach City Mayor, and I need your help. I need to see 55 gang leaders here this coming Monday. We need to take back the city. Enough is enough. ICE needs to get out of Long Beach. And this is the only way that I know how to get them out.
Californians would be a fool to vote for this guy, Rogelio Martinez, and I'm not sure how this guy isn't behind bars yet. You can't openly call for such violence without, having consequences for your actions. I wouldn't be surprised if this one resulted in prosecution. And I want to flip over because I'm going to show you exactly why they are reacting the way that they are right now. And it's because Nick Shirley, aka the fraud boogeyman, just touched down in California for round 2 on exposing fraud. Here's his tweet from just the other day. This was January 31st. He says, "Hello, I've arrived, California." And let me flip over. Let me let you guys see Nick Shirley rocking the Support Independent Journalism hoodie. You gotta love it, man. This guy is the reason why Quality Learning Center in Minnesota got shut down. They removed the signage outside. They were having moving trucks out there, completely moved out, abandoned the property. And it's all thanks to this guy right here doing the Lord's work. And our friend Benny Johnson is also on the ground over in California, and he just blew the lid off a massive homeless scam.
They promised the state of California they'd build hundreds of units of affordable housing by converting old motels into homeless shelters. What did they end up doing? Stealing that money. Tens of millions of it went to pay for luxury goods, shopping sprees, expensive cars. It went to credit cards for Cody Holmes, who has now been arrested and indicted by the feds for wire fraud. And that's just one example. There's a lot more. Let's go. Welcome to the Weingart Center, a nonprofit that takes hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars from the people of California and delivers homeless skyscrapers at a cost of $800,000 per unit, including lavish amenities like gyms, cafes, dog parks, city views, and art studios. The homeless in California live better than you do. The Weingart Center is at the heart of a federal investigation into fraud overpayment on properties for homeless shelters. A real estate developer bought a former senior facility for $11 million using a fraudulent loan. And then they sold it to the Weingart Center for $27 million the same week. That's a $16 million profit, leading to their CEO and real estate director to be placed on leave. The absolute hellscape that is downtown Los Angeles. Drive through it. For every one open store, there are 10 that are closed, and that's because the homeless industrial complex has hollowed out downtown LA. There's literally nothing left. Some of these beautiful buildings, old theaters, some of the most gorgeous architecture you've ever seen left to rot and be graffitied, and that's because of fraud like the homeless industrial complex provides.
Let me say this, and let me say it clear. If the taxes weren't so terrible in the state of California, you best believe I'd be moving there and declaring homeless, because we can see they're living well in those homeless skyscrapers. This is obvious fraud being covered up by homelessness, and it needs to be investigated. Yo, props to our friend Benny Johnson for exposing this one. And that's not all the fraud that has been uncovered in this state. You guys have to take a look at this next one.
One doctor billed the government $120 million in a single year, claiming to oversee 1,900 patients. With almost 2,000 hospice agencies, LA County has more than 36 states combined, and 30 times more than either Florida or New York.
18% of the whole country's home health care billing is coming out of Los Angeles County. How is that possible?
And take a look at this map, a cluster of 287 hospice providers in a 2-mile radius, some in strip malls, unmarked buildings, even a wrecking yard and vacant lot.
All of it is just paperwork. I could fill that out in Kazakhstan if I want and get a hospice license waiting for me.
Wow, you guys, those numbers are absolutely unbelievable. This is off the charts, record-breaking fraud that is now being documented in the state of California. And when you put this in perspective, it speaks volumes. We're talking about nearly 20% of our entire nation's funding for home health care going to one single state of California. Definitely need to look into that. And oh yeah, I thought I'd add that this whole ghost daycare system is not just limited to the state of Minnesota. It appears that it's also alive and thriving underneath the leadership of Gavin Newsom as well.
After what's been exposed with the daycares in Minnesota, I'm a licensed private investigator in California. I started looking into state records and I found ghost daycares. These are places where the state inspectors showed up. There would be 28 kids enrolled and there were no kids there in the middle of the day and in the middle of the week.
All right, so a ghost daycare. Is that something Gavin Newsom could say, all right, you know, we'll try to shut that down? Does he cooperate when you start raising this?
No, in fact, today it got word from the governor's office. There's been a directive to actually shut down public access. So right now you can't even search the own state website to look into these ghost daycares, but I have found a workaround.
Okay, well, we don't want to tell the governor that you found a workaround. So, but it does sound like he's trying to cover his tracks. Like this is a cover up.
We're talking about billions of dollars in California. Today in New York, Kathy Hochul, she said she wants to increase child care subsidies to $4.5 billion. We're talking about the same amount in California, if not even more.
Gavin Newsom better gear up because it appears he's about to get the same treatment as Governor Tim Walz. Won't be running for re-election once they're finished uncovering all the dirt on his state. We're talking about a large scale of fraud. And when you see fraud at this magnitude, it just leads one to believe that leadership turned a blind eye, or maybe they were connected to the fraud and benefiting as well. And I'll tell you who's about to have fun with this one. It's our friend Nick Shirley, that independent journalist. He is about to have a ball, absolute field day, uncovering all this in the state of California. And I want to leave you guys here with this one last clip, because it appears there's one thing that's going to be different from what we see in the state of Minnesota. Local law enforcement have already let Governor Gavin Newsom know that they are not willing and will not be participating in his fight against federal immigration enforcement.
The reality of one armed agency approaching another armed agency to create conflict over something that would be a misdemeanor at best or an infraction, it doesn't make any sense.
Chief McDonnell went on to say the state's federal mask ban is not a good public policy decision, adding in his opinion it was not well thought out due to the possibility of conflict between law enforcement agencies. The ban on face coverings, known as the No Secret Police Act, was introduced following immigration raids across Southern California that began last summer. The law went into effect on January 1st, but is not being enforced because the Department of Justice is currently challenging it in court. So far, the judge presiding over that case has indicated that the federal government has a strong argument that this could be discrimination against federal agents.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness, there is definitely a storm brewing in Gavin Newsom's California, similar to what we've seen with fraud walls in the state of Minnesota. It's all coming to light now. All of the dirt that was trying to be swept underneath the rug is coming out, and that's exactly why we're seeing these distraction tactics sparking out. We've seen the same exact thing when Nick Shirley went in there and exposed the fraudsters in the state of Minnesota. You've seen the backlash that he was receiving. You've seen these anti-ICE protests breaking out, and this is all an attempt to distract us from the fact that those in leadership were most likely implicated and connected to this widespread fraud. Oh my goodness, and it looks like California may be 10 times worse than we've seen in Minnesota. I know it was almost up to what, 9 billion, maybe even I think it was 10, maybe 10 billion. The state of California, it looks even worse, maybe 30 billion. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I can't wait to see what Nick Shirley uncovers. Yo, big shout out to our friend Benny Johnson as well, doing the due diligence, boots on ground, and making sure that he uncovers and exposes all these frauds. We're talking about a homeless high-rise. What does that even mean? How did they get access to this? I just don't know. I'm lost for words. I'm blown away by the fact that they've gotten away with this for so long and no one has said one word. It just leads you to believe that those in leadership were also in on it, guys. But I'll continue to follow this when any news that breaks. Like I said, this is fairly new in the news cycle, so I'm sure there's going to be even more stuff that comes out, and I'll do follow-up videos in the future, guys. But now's the time. Please hop in that comment section, drop your thoughts, let me know what you're thinking on Governor Gavin Newsom's California. Do you think that he was in on it, or do you think that this just happened and he had no knowledge whatsoever? You guys got to let me know in the comment section below. And before you guys go, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this coming from your boy RetroStef, I'll catch you guys on the next week.